Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another very special, very fun live stream. We have people in the chat already, which is super awesome. But I'm very happy to welcome on a brand new face to the channel. He is a excellent content creator right here on this medium. Very good friend of mine that I've met through YouTube since I've been doing it over this past year or so. Like, my goodness, it's been a long time. But I'm very happy to welcome Andy Tolsky to the channel. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this for a while since I pitched this idea to you.
Same, man. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. You know, he was the guy that was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing DCEU?" And I was like, "Oh man, you're gonna see me get heated tonight." But yeah, you know, I'm very happy to talk to you. You have excellent movie reviews on the channel. You bring a lot of nice snarky charm also. So guys, I have left his channel info and deets and links all down in the description box below. So go give him some love. Go subscribe to his channel because he deserves it. Which, speaking of, if any of you guys are new here, if you guys are watching this replay, why don't you go ahead and hit that big old subscribe button for me as well. We're on the road to 700 and counting over here on my channel. Go ahead and smash that button as hard as you possibly can. Hit it till it hurts, and hit that thumbs up button as well. Go ahead and smash it like Batfleck does to Henry Cavill before before they both realize that their mother's gonna save Martha. God, I'm going to be jacked up on caffeine, Andy. I don't know about you.
Oh, that makes two of us, man.
All right, there we go. I'm drinking Mountain Dew Major Melon for anybody curious. Yummiest to drink out there right now. Let's see who's in the chat. My buddy Luke is here. What's up, yo? Eric is here. What's up? He says, nice to meet you, Andy.
Hey, good to meet you too.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Connections, collaborations. That's what we're all about here on Film YouTube, Film Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
I should say this is actually my very first live stream I've ever done on YouTube. So,
oh yeah. First time for everything. And this is definitely not going to be his last. I can already tell. What's going on? Waiting for another stream to start. So I thought I'd pop in. That's all good, man. We're just going to go ahead and get started with these DC Extended Universe rankings. So this is
entertain you while you're waiting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is actually perfect, Andy. It's a perfect subject because it's a nice even 10 movies. And for anybody curious, no, we're not going to be talking about the Dark Knight trilogy tonight. We're not going to be talking about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, as sad as it is. But I think it's I don't know if I can speak for you, Andy, but I think all four of those movies are all better than the ones we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, they're different. They're different enough where, like, it's apples and oranges. At least that's my view on it. Where, you know, I mean, Nolan's trilogy, I mean, yeah, they are superior to these. I mean, they're more grounded. They're more realistic. I can go on and on about it, but that'll make this like 5 hours long. So we don't have to go there.
Oh, no. It's fine. This is, again, but just my opinion. Christopher Nolan, you can't really go wrong with his Batmans and, you know, all the iconic performances, despite how silly Christian Bale might sound.
No, till the day I die, I will say Christian Bale is the best live-action Batman there will ever be, period.
Yes. Hear that, Manda? If you're watching the replay.
Does she disagree?
Well, she's a big Batman v Superman fan. She's going to be very upset with where I'm placing it on my list. But yeah, for anybody who's new to the channel, let me just explain real quick how this works. We're just going to go back and forth since Andy here is the guest. He is going to go first each round, and we're just going to basically go off of our lists 10-1. Let me know what you guys or how you guys will be ranking these down in the comments section, and we can compare and contrast and maybe argue a little bit. I don't know, but you know, it's all friendly here. It's all in good fun. But Andy, let's not waste any more time. Oh, real quick, Kevin, what's up? Ben Affleck Batman is a crime against humanity.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
He's not worse than George Clooney.
That's very true. I'd even argue he's better than Val Kilmer in Batman Forever.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, but rest in peace, Joel Schumacher. But all right, Andy, let's not waste any more time. What's your pick for number 10? I have a feeling I know what you're going to say here, but what you got?
Well, okay, for number 10, this is interesting because this wasn't number 10 until recently. And it's Justice League.
There it is.
Is that what you were
There
expecting?
it is. Yep, and that's actually
Really?
also my number 10. Just bury the lead there. Yeah. So let's tear this off like a band-aid.
Yeah.
What have you got against the Justice League now, Andy?
Well, it's funny for those of you who watch my videos, you know that when Justice League first came out, I didn't hate it. I actually thought it was acceptable. It was passable. I didn't love it by any means. I thought it was like just enough to pass. I knew that we all knew that, you know, it was not what we were supposed to get. It was kind of a botched version. But for what they did, aside from Superman's lip, for what they did, it was enough. It gave us like enough to be enjoyable. But now that we have the Snyder cut, this version it's dead. It's irrelevant. It's like not even a movie anymore. It's just, we can forget it ever happened. And it's funny, in my intro for my Snyder cut review, I said, how did I ever think that the Justice League was okay? And that is how I feel. Like, this is kind of going to be me praising the Snyder cut because it just makes Justice League so irrelevant. It's just,
absolutely agree. And you know what? I was in the same boat when Justice League first came out, and we're not really going to mention who directed this because he's kind of in some hot water right now. But besides the point, I actually had a lot of fun with this Justice League, watching it in the theaters. I thought it was just kind of disposable fun, easy watch. You know, the Flash was funny, even though I think in hindsight, Ezra Miller is slightly miscast in the Flash these days. I much prefer Grant Gustin, but I think for what they were trying to do, it was fun. And I did appreciate how the filmmakers brought in some of the older themes from, like, say, Tim Burton's Danny Elfman's Batman theme. They brought that back for this version. I thought that was a really neat touch. But now considering that, you know, Zack Snyder's version is out in the open on HBO Max for everybody to see, watch it. Everybody watch it by the hours.
Much better.
Repeatedly. Absolutely 100%. And we'll be talking more about that later, I'm sure. But, you know, this freaking Justice League, man, just thinking about it makes me laugh now. For what they were trying to do, it was decent enough, but this version is for sure dead with the advent of Zack Snyder's version that's out there now.
They might say at Warner Brothers that this is the actual canon version, but I'm not buying into that.
Yeah, same. Everybody's eulogizing Justice League now. But anyway, gotta say what's up to Kothar in the comments. Thank you very much, sir. Eric also says Christian Bale is my fave, but I think Ben Affleck is pretty much as good as well. Yeah, Ben Affleck was also my favorite part of the Justice League. I didn't even mention that, but you know, his performance was very rugged. I really love what he brought to the table as Bruce Wayne, as the older, like, Dark Knight Returns-esque version. We were talking a little bit about that also before we hit record. You know, we both love Dark Knight Returns, but yeah, man. Let's see. Justice League was okay at first, but then it was just a film that didn't hold up on repeat viewings. Would you agree with that?
Actually, it's funny because, you know, when it came out on digital media, we actually got it on Blu-ray. And I did watch it like many times. I did watch it on repeat. Again, it's just one of those, like, for the time, it's what we got. You know, it's what we had. The Snyder Cut was a myth. So it's what we had as our Justice League movie, you know? So for me, like, again, I never thought like, oh, it didn't get better is what I'm trying to say. It didn't get better. It stayed at okay to good, you know, like a 7 out of 10.
I mean,
at first.
Yeah. And it's only 2 hours. So it's a pretty easy watch. You don't have to set aside a whole bunch of time like you do for Zack Snyder's version. But I mean, like, true story, anybody who's seen my Blu-ray collection video will know this, but I do have the Digibook, Target exclusive of the Justice League right here. I don't think I've ever watched this, and I'm not sure I ever will at this point because, you know, Zack Snyder's cut is out there, deservedly so. Yeah, but let's get some more comments here. Eric says, that's how I also felt about Justice League originally. I think a lot of people have had that opinion. I heard, yeah, man, disposable. it exists on planet Earth. I know this is oblivious to what we're talking about. What are you guys' thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier? I do have a big, giant, spoiler-filled stream with my buddies Leo and Manda. If you guys missed that, check that out after this stream. But might as well ask Andy, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I have videos on each episode on my channel as well. So so you can go ahead and check those out. I mean, if we were to change the subject, this would go on for 6 hours. So you can just stay on the subject of DC for now. But if you want to know my thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier, you can definitely check out my videos on each episode. Yeah,
for sure. 100%. But yeah, pretty easy number 10. I don't know how easy number 9 is going to be. What do you have here?
Number 9 is also a funny story because for number 9, I have Suicide Squad, which is it's interesting because for those of you who have watched my channel and know my videos, when it first came out, I loved it. Now, Suicide Squad has a funny history with me because it is actually my most viewed review on my channel.
Nice.
And it is one of those things. This is actually the case with a few of the movies on this list where I really like it at first, but then the more I watch it and the more I think about it, the less I like it. And with Suicide Squad, I will say I don't hate it as much as most other people do.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I will say it has some fun things in it. I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I've always loved her as Harley Quinn. But some of the acting, I will admit, like, it's not good. Cara Delevingne is terrible, I think, as the villain these days. As
the Enchantress. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Cara Delevingne is the Enchantress. I was like watching it in the past couple of years. I was like, she's really not a good actress. Like, her acting's not that good. Some of the writing is subpar. Like some of the jokes don't land.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's Joker is really misused. Yeah. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. There were definitely some misfires in that movie for sure that I didn't realize until some years later, but I do realize them now.
Some huge misfires, and you know what, Andy, you're gonna think this is really, really insane. I think great minds do think alike. My number 9 is also Suicide Squad.
No,
amazingly enough. Yeah, and Eric says Suicide Squad easily is the only other one down there with Justice League. I would agree.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I feel like the beginning of this list was, I don't want to say the easiest I've ever put together, but definitely as we get lower on this countdown, it got a little bit more difficult for me. I don't know if I could speak for Andy, but
the bottom of this list was easier, I will say.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kevin says Suicide Squad was a crime against humanity. Here's the thing. I'm again, like Andy, when this came out in theaters, it was at a pretty low point in my personal life. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I needed something to cheer me up. And my buddy actually took me out to the movie theater and we saw Suicide Squad opening weekend and I had a lot of fun with it. But then I went and bought the damn digibook from Target. I don't know, where is it? Right
is it the
here.
Bright green thing in the background there?
Right here. Yep. Bright green, big old spine. Yep. There it is.
Wow, look at that.
But,
I will say the marketing for this movie was aesthetically really cool. I love the skull design.
So cool. Look at the lenticular on this too.
Wow,
this
look at that.
Something else.
That's cool.
Here we are geeking out over Target's old digibooks that they don't make anymore. But yeah, man,
cool
I popped the Blu-ray in, I rewatched it, and I was like, this movie's got serious problems, man.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't good. Like, David Ayer came in, and David Ayer is a director I really respect. Training Day, End of Watch, both great crime dramas, but it was End of Watch is that's a tough one to get through just because of the subject material, but really well made, really well acted, and David Ayer did a great job directing it. But Suicide Squad just wasn't that movie for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on, and everybody is begging for the Ayer cut, and I'm just like, bring me James Gunn's version immediately because it's going to be a lot more fun. It's also going to be rated R, which that Suicide Squad wasn't. And by the way, I'm seeing all your tweets out there about, Zack Snyder's SpongeBob the movie looks freaking brutal as Killer Shark is tearing fools in half. But yeah, it was just lame. And like most of David Ayer's Suicide Squad, like, I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, Andy, but most of David Ayer's cut was just a big giant city scene. Like they don't really go anywhere else.
It doesn't have to. I mean, for like, a movie can take place in one setting. That's not really a problem with the movie.
Yeah, I know, and I'm saying like that's fine, but like the way they went about it was just like, I feel like they should be going somewhere else with this. Like, this can't be it. They can't have blown their load already. And then they eventually, sure enough, before I know it, get to the big beam in the sky, which looked a lot like Fan Four Stick. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair. That's fair.
Those effects were awful.
Yeah,
horrendous.
those effects were pretty bad. And
like
the funny thing about both Justice League and Suicide Squad is when I first saw these movies, they were with big audiences and there were fans that were cheering throughout both movies because they were just like a bunch of fanboys. So that's probably part of the reason why I liked them at first, is because of the experience with watching them.
Exactly.
But it's the difference between watching a movie with a big crowd and watching it by yourself at home. Because like if you watch it at home, you're more like, oh, I can see the flaws in the movie more.
100%. Yeah, I think I notice, and that's just me in general. Also, I tend to notice flaws in the movie as I rewatch them. Like first time I'm in the theater and I'm watching, like, say Avengers Endgame, for example, I'm not there looking for the flaws. I'm looking to have fun. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's whole different animal for sure. Got to say what's up to Marcus in the comments there. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, heck yeah. Luke says, I do like Suicide Squad, but my family watched it anytime it was on TV. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Why would they subject you to that continuously? I hope James Gunn's version of Suicide Squad this year is better. Do you have confidence in James Gunn, Andy?
Oh, of course, but my one concern is that it has about like twice as many characters as Ayer's Suicide Squad did. So, like one of the problems that most people had with Ayer's Suicide Squad is that it didn't like give the characters enough like backstory. It didn't.
Yeah.
So I feel like this problem might double down for the new one. But James Gunn has proven himself an amazing filmmaker with his, his Guardians of the Galaxy movies and his other movies that he's done. I do have faith in him. Plus, this is rated R, so I feel like with the trailers that we got, this is going to be James Gunn unleashed. It's going to be completely irreverent. It's pretty much, it's going to remind me of like Birds of Prey meets Deadpool, but with DC.
Oh, yes.
That kind of violence. That kind of violence and fun and irreverence. Yeah,
maybe even with violence that could top Deadpool. I'm not saying it will, but I think it has the potential to do so.
It could. Plus, you can bet, pretty much guarantee right now that the movie's going to have a killer soundtrack.
Right. Yes. With James Gunn attached. Again, I'm sure most of you in the chat have seen Guardians of the Galaxy and you already know how amazing that soundtrack is. So
yeah,
I'm sure that's going to be one of the Suicide Squad's biggest strengths, just to kind of differentiate that. New Suicide Squad looks good because it has a big shark wearing pants.
King Shark.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
For those of you who watched the Harley Quinn show, King Shark is one of the best characters in that show. I'm looking forward to seeing King Shark in live action, voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, of all people, yes. I love it. Hallelujah.
Who has worked with James Gunn before in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You remember that?
Yep, I do. Yeah. It's that big Ravager that was exiling Yondu. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a shame it took the death of Yondu for the Ravagers all come together or something like that. But
no rematch.
I'm not that good at impressions, but I enjoy doing them. I hope you guys like doing impressions too. Eric Thorpe says, I think the new Suicide Squad will be fine, but still won't touch the Snyder DCEU movies. They really are a cut above the rest of the franchise, in my opinion. Yes, that includes Batman versus Superman.
We'll get to the Snyder movies when we get to them in our countdown.
Yes. And people are going to be so mad at me.
Which I assume will be later on.
Yep. Zach Mild, what's up? Another great content creator. Go check him out if you haven't already. Suicide Squad was fun in the theater with friends. Completely fell apart for me second viewing. Yep.
That's my case. Yep.
Oh, yep, absolutely. Let's see. Well, I can't help but be curious if there is at least a coherent, watchable version of David Ayer's movie. Then I'd love to see it. We'd have a rewatchable version of every DCEU movie. Then, yep. yeah. But
saying that you're saying Suicide Squad is the only unwatchable DCEU movie left.
Well, I mean, after Zack Snyder just totally blew Joss Whedon out of the water,
yeah,
yeah, they didn't make me watch it all the time. It's just one of those. Okay, all right, fair enough.
I get that. There are movies that your whole family loves to watch. My family has a few of those,
right?
Even if they're good or bad, whatever. I mean, I hate to call it my dad here, but he has like his movies that we both know are bad, but we like to watch. Like Ghost Rider is actually one of those. I was talking with Zach. I was talking with Zach earlier before we went live that my guilty pleasure movie is the 2007 Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. And we all know it's terrible, but it's the movie that we watch, we laugh, we have fun.
Absolutely.
So I'm not gonna get down on you for that.
Yeah. And plus all film is subjective too. So like Andy and I do not have all the correct opinions, and we're not the only opinions out there. That's what's so great about this.
If your favorite Star Wars movie is Rise of Skywalker, I'm not going to say you're wrong.
No. I had fun with Rise of Skywalker. Yes. James Gunn's Suicide Squad looks like so much fun. I'm predicting most of the characters are goners used to utilize that.
I'm pretty sure half those characters are going to be gone before halfway through the movie.
That is an interesting point, and that's something I kind of wanted to piggyback off of real quick. That's a really amazing point you made about being concerned about the runtime and like how these characters aren't being given enough time. Mm-hmm. And I never really thought about that. I was just looking at who was attached to the James Gunn, like attached to if I could speak, attached to the project, and like seeing the cast and James Gunn being involved with it. Like, I'm hyping myself up too much, I think. But
I think if you saw. They released a bunch of character posters when that trailer came out, but they didn't release posters for all the characters. So I feel like all the characters who did not get posters are the ones who are going to be dead before the halfway mark. Yeah, I feel like the ones who did get posters are the ones that you're going to want to keep your eye on.
Well, also, I may be biased as a wrestling fan, but luckily for me, it doesn't look like John Cena is dying off in this because, they already inked him for a Peacemaker series on HBO Max. So
I can't wait for that.
It's gonna be so awesome. If your favorite, Kevin.
No, he says if your favorite Star Wars movie is Rise of Skywalker, I will say you're wrong. Well, all right.
Oh man, 2007 Ghost Rider is a masterpiece. And Marcus, a lot of love for Ghost Rider 2 also.
Ghost Rider 2, not so much. Not for me anyway.
Yep. Shout out to the MCU's choice for Ghost Rider. Probably going to be Keanu Reeves. Not manifesting that at all. But
we'll see. Ghost Rider actually did appear in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in
Yes. Yeah. Feige's going to want to bring him in though. But
I can't wait. Well, that'll be in like 5 or 10 years. We'll see.
Cannot wait. Wait.
We'll see what they do with the Fantastic Four first.
Fantastic. As long as it's better than Fantastic, I'll be okay with that version. But all right, let's keep it moving, my friend. What do you got as your eighth choice?
All right, for numero ocho, I have. And actually, this is kind of fitting because for number 8, I have the one that takes place in the 80s. That is Wonder Woman 1984. Now, this one, which came out on Christmas just a few months ago, is the one where I liked it at first, but then the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. Because like the action was cool, and I mean, we were starved for a superhero movie all year long. So like for what we got, again, it was something to cheer me up. Kind of like you were saying about Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the more I watched it, I was like, there are a lot of things in this movie that just don't make sense. Mm-hmm. And this am I free to spoil? Like, I'm free to give away some spoilers?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't seen Wonder Woman 1984. I'm assuming most of you have by this point, but yeah.
Or any of these movies.
Proceed.
But, but yeah, I mean, like the invisible jet, for example, like, oh, I can turn things invisible. I'm like, okay, where did that come from? It's never touched on again. You know, it's just like, it was in the movie just for the sake of saying, hey, here's the invisible jet. Like, it's just fan service. And there are a few things in this movie that do that. Like when she starts flying, I'm like, that didn't make any sense.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
The golden armor that she gets, the only reason she puts it on is just cause, like, there was no real emotion behind it.
That's such a great point. Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. It's badass Wonder Woman. No, like
honestly, there was literally no reason for that golden armor to be in the movie at all.
No reason.
And honestly, with Cheetah, they could have done something a lot cooler.
Yes.
I know what they were going for, but you know, I mean, there could have been much better casting. Like I said in my review, I thought Charlize Theron would have been a badass Cheetah.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man, you're making me feel so.
I do apologize if my opinion. I do apologize if my opinion clashes with yours, but
No. Actually, you know what? Funny you mention it. It doesn't, because for the third movie in a row, our numbers actually match up. Wonder Woman 1984 is my number 8 as well. For a lot of the same reasons you were saying, actually, because like, again, this came out last Christmas. I could not see this in a theater, unfortunately, because, you know, where I am, you know, it was kind of, stay at home order. And it was pretty strict around that point. So I had to settle for HBO Max, which was fine. Because I could pause the movie and go to the bathroom, because again, you know, 2.5 hour movie. I was like, but and Luke actually does make that point. He really enjoyed the movie. He just didn't think the opening scene needed to be there, and he also didn't think the film needed to be 2.5 hours. I
actually really enjoyed that opening scene, like visually.
Same.
It's a fun scene to watch. Although I will say, like a lot of people have said that they didn't feel that scene needed to be there. I don't think the scene needed to be as long as it was, is what it is.
Right. Yep.
Like it was like what, 5-10 minutes, something like that, maybe even 15.
Easily 10. It was easily 10 minutes. Yeah,
that could have been a 5-minute scene.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I did enjoy the visuals of that scene.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely a beautiful scene, and Patty Jenkins once again did an excellent job directing it. I'm so excited.
The directing is really good. It's the writing that I felt took a huge hit.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really excited to see what she does with a Star Wars movie in a couple of years specifically. But I mean, again, to your point, Cheetah in this movie, and for those of you who are familiar with the Wonder Woman comics, Cheetah is basically to Wonder Woman what Joker is to Batman. She is like the most famous Wonder Woman villain out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing against Kristen Wiig whatsoever. I think she's hilarious. I think she was just put into the wrong part. You know, like, and they went the Jamie Foxx Electro route with her, which we've seen so many times in superhero movies, and it never really works. And surprise, surprise, it didn't work here either. So I think they should have held off on Cheetah, maybe get a bigger name like Charlize Theron out there, you know, maybe put her in there, maybe for the third one, which takes place in modern day. But, you know, because this was the main conflict of this movie was Wonder Woman versus Max Lord. And that was actually a huge strength of Wonder Woman 1984. I really enjoyed watching that. I thought it was very relevant to the time. I know that's a word, but you know, the whole confrontation they have at the end, that big climax, it's not so much she's kicking his ass or anything, and he's not kicking her ass either. It's more a war of words and morals, you know? And what they were saying really strikes a chord with you, especially when you're living in a pandemic like this. So that part I really enjoyed. Pedro Pascal, best performer in the whole movie. But one thing that we do need to address here, Andy.
I think I see where you're going.
Why does Chris Pine need to be here?
Steve Trevor is arguably the most controversial thing about the entire movie.
Why the fuck is Steve Trevor here? I don't understand.
Again, another thing where like it's been 66 years since the events of the first Wonder Woman. Why is she still not over him? Like what? Come on, that's unrealistic. And the way he comes back, he could have just like materialized out of nothing, and that would have been fine. But no, they had to make his spirit possess the body of some random guy, which is where the controversy comes from. We won't get into it, but yeah, there are 100 different ways they could have gone about that would have been better, I felt.
Oh, and it especially pisses me off because it cheapens the emotional, heartfelt ending of the first Wonder Woman film, which we'll talk about. But like, good Lord, I mean,
even in Justice League, where she walks into the Batcave and sees the Batwing, she's like, "I once knew a man who would have loved to fly this." And you know,
there he is.
Hello.
Yeah. You're here.
Yeah, like the scene in Justice League where she walks into the Batcave and she's like, "I once knew a man who would love to fly this." You might have mentioned, oh, by the way, he came back in the 80s as well, like for some reason. You know,
it just doesn't. Yeah. You know, and that's another praise that I can give the movie. You mentioned that it does take place in the 80s and it does capture the cheesiness of the 80s. Like it honestly, like the way Patty Jenkins approached it made me think of like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies in tone.
Oh yeah.
Like it just brought me back memories. It felt nostalgic to me. So
yeah, for sure. I also love Hans Zimmer's score in this one. Hans Zimmer's score was actually really good in this.
Oh, so good. You can never really go wrong with him.
No.
Oh, here's a hot take, Andy. Eric likes 84 more than the first one. It has more holes, but it's just more entertaining for him. You think the first Wonder Woman is fine, but super overrated. Its side characters outside of Steve suck.
No, I mean, Wonder Woman 84 has some great action scenes. I will say that. You know, that first action scene in the mall where she's using her lasso to take care of those like goons. I really enjoyed that scene. And actually, her lasso is my favorite of her weapons. I actually enjoy it more than seeing her using a sword or something. But I love her lasso is something that no other superhero has. So I love seeing her kick ass. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but kick ass in
oh no, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, the action scenes are really well choreographed in this one for sure.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Zach says, but without the armor, how would Wonder Woman take on the Jellicle Cat? She did look like a Jellicle Cat, didn't she?
Yeah, that's actually, I think I said that in one of my videos about the trailers for that, is that people are going to get Cats flashbacks when seeing Cheetah.
I hate this movie even more now. Good Lord.
Oh, come on, she could have easily taken out the Cheetah with her regular armor, because I don't think her armor had anything to even. She could have flown without the golden armor. You know, she was flying without it before, so like, why does she even need that golden armor?
Yeah. Zach also says Chris Pine needed to be there because he signed a contract. So that's how it felt to him. And why someone else's body? Is the movie better in your opinion if that was taken out? Well, Zach, I'll tell you what, my friend. I think the movie would have been a million times better if Chris Pine was just not in it. Like, you know, because it just makes no sense for him to be there. Like, I mean, cool, he signs a contract, but like, if he dies in the first film, like, chances are he shouldn't be in the second one, and yet he is. There he is. You know, just nothing. Everything's fine. The plane didn't crash. I didn't just sacrifice myself. But anyway, I digress. Moving on to number 7. What do you have?
Okay. Number 7. I think this is where our lists are going to start to deviate because
let's see.
This is going to be interesting. I'm actually curious to see a reaction to this. But for number 7, I have Shazam.
Whoa, Shazam, really?
Yeah, this is one where I felt like I was the only person who was not the biggest fan of this one.
Damn.
And I can feel the hate swelling up from everyone who's watching this right now. But
it's fine. It's fine. Again, it's subjective, but yeah, I have it a little bit higher, but
yeah, no, and again, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but for me, there were a lot of plot holes in this one. There are things that that's I just didn't like about it. I mean, the villain was really one-dimensional. I mean, Savannah, played by Mark Strong, I felt the villain could have been a lot better. He was emotionless. He was a stock villain pretty much, and when you have an actor like Mark Strong who's so good, he felt kind of wasted.
So underrated too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he gets enough credit, but he's really damn good, guys.
Yeah,
but
great in the Kingsman movies.
You know, Mark Strong is definitely, you know, as a villain. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. He's more one-dimensional, and you know, I have my own personal love for Shazam, which I'll certainly get into, and I'll get into my reasoning why I have it higher. But I think someone in the comments manifested this. Zach, I know what your number 7 is. It's Batman versus Superman. I know it. And you know what, Eric? You get a prize because you are correct. My number 7 is Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. So listen, everybody, especially Manda, if you're watching the replay, I know you're going to. There are things about BBS that I really, really love. I love Batfleck. You know, I just feel like the movie put out its entire load. All of its surprises were already revealed to us with that fucking trailer.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember going to the theater to see and Marcus already hates me. Boo. Hear me out here.
Don't hate.
All the surprises were gone. You know, imagine if that trailer came out and they didn't tell you that Wonder Woman was going to be in this.
Yeah.
We lost connection there for a second, guys. I hope you're still with us. But yeah, so here's the thing, guys. Again, I feel like the network's trying to cancel me because I hate Batman versus Superman. But
or my take on Shazam.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's another thing. Luke thinks Shazam is super fun. Zachary Levi was the perfect actor for the role. If you want a good Mark Strong villain role, watch Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I will say Zach Levi was great casting for Shazam. Honestly, I did think that. And again, there are things I like about the movie for sure. I mean, Zach Levi was amazing. I think he was perfect casting for the role. The action was really cool in the movie. But for example, the scene where Savannah takes the orb thing from the wizard. The wizard could have stopped him at any point, and he didn't. I was like, why didn't you stop him ever?
He just doesn't stop them because he knows he's the chosen one. He's the little kid, you know. But
yeah. And things like that happened throughout the movie things like that happened throughout the movie, and they kept adding up for me, and it was just lower on my list. But back to you.
Yeah. No, that's all good. Everybody's praising the Ultimate Edition in the chat, and yeah, the Ultimate Edition does improve upon it, but there's just so many things about BBS, like the theatrical cut, that just really didn't work for me. It feels to me like they didn't know what kind of movie they wanted to make. The first half felt almost like a Captain America: The Winter Soldier style political thriller. And then they just throw all those story elements out the window by the second half, and they just throw everything they possibly can. They shoehorn Doomsday in there egregiously. Yeah. It turns into this big, giant science fiction extravaganza when it didn't really need to be. You know? And again, that damn Wonder Woman reveal was already given to us in the trailer. So people were excited to see her, but, you know, it was like, oh, yeah, great. Yay. You know, it wasn't like freaking Chris Evans wielding Mjolnir for the first time in Endgame. It wasn't that was a legitimate surprise. Nobody expected that.
Well, it's because there were, about 10 movies leading up to it. With this, it was second movie. Okay, we're already here. And
Marvel Studios was also smart enough to not reveal that surprise in the trailer. So, yeah, Ben Affleck, easily the best part of the movie. Henry Cavill was fine as Superman in that, he certainly better in other projects. Jesse Eisenberg, again, was miscast like Kristen Wiig. He's great in other stuff, but he went the insane route, and Lex Luthor should be someone that should be able to kick Superman's ass, he shouldn't be the crazy guy in the chair. That's how I see Lex Luthor, at least. He's smart, but he also has to have the build of a Tom Hardy or a Joel Edgerton, perhaps. So I don't know. I have my issues with BBS. If people love it, great. I don't. I think it's just a gigantic splat of a movie. So, but anyway, man, yeah, no, that's the first time that our lists have differentiated from each other. I'm hoping that the connection stays strong over here. The force stays strong. Marcus said Zach was hacking in like Mustafa Ali was last year on SmackDown. But in any case, what's your choice for number 6, my friend?
All right, number 6. I have Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman was higher on my list, but it's a thing where, again, I love the action scenes. Gal Gadot is great as Wonder Woman, I think. And for most of the movie, it's great. It's the end. It's the third act of the movie that kind of falls apart for me. And the more I watch it over the years, the less I like that third act. Is how it goes with me. Not that it's terrible, but it really does kind of, you know, the movie builds up a strong story with some great action. But when Ares is revealed, because, you know, it's the scene where Chris Pine is talking with Diana, and he goes, you know, well, maybe it's human beings, you know, maybe Ares is not real, maybe it's just us. And I was like, that's a great point, you know. And then he's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he's stepped on, you know. He's like, oh yeah, I know Ares is real, he's wrong. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you know, when I first saw the movie, I was fine with it, but then the more I watch it, I'm like, yeah, that would have been so much better if, like, Chris Pine was just right. You know, Wonder Woman would have learned a lesson about humanity there. But, and then of course, like, the big CGI fight at the end was in line with the preceding DC movies before it. But
I can understand that. I can understand people's flaws with it. I definitely have Wonder Woman higher on my list. But I mean, again, I definitely see people's problems with it, you know, and Eric does mention that he thinks really drags in the second act, which is fair. You know, some people aren't a big fan of that party scene, but there's a lot of really tense, quiet moments in that party scene that I think tend to be overlooked. So I don't know. Again, it's all subjective. Luke says, I agree with you about Jesse Eisenberg being miscast. Thank you, because he originally wanted to play the Riddler, believe it or not, but they got somebody better, Paul Dano. Eisenberg does get one great scene on the rooftop blackmailing Superman. It's stupid, makes no sense, but his performance was good and menacing. I don't think he was menacing. He went I don't know if anybody has ever seen Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage, but yeah, he basically went that route. You know, Nicolas Cage plays an OCD con man who has a little bit of a twitch here and there. And there's a lot of moments where Jesse Eisenberg will just go like, like for no reason. And he just comes off like, you're not menacing. You couldn't really kick Superman's ass if you tried. Luke says Wonder Woman is my favorite DCEU film easily. Ooh. No,
cool. I mean, again, it's a great opinion to have. You know, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Patty Jenkins again does such a great job with it. I think Snyder just makes Wonder Woman so much cooler than Patty Jenkins allows her to be.
I do agree, actually.
I
do agree.
Again,
I agree with you there, Eric.
Yeah, at least Patty Jenkins didn't throw her entire load of Wonder Woman's action in her trailers. But anyway, my number 6, again, it might surprise a lot of people. It might not, but this is where I put Aquaman. You know, I think James Wan did such an incredible job building this world. Atlantis looks unbelievable. Jason Momoa, Roman Reigns' good twin brother. He just makes Aquaman the guy that you just want to hang out at a bar with and not just the dweeby, you know, like, oh, this is just the weakest superhero of all time. I'm a fish, you know.
Yeah.
I think Family Guy does you know, one of the funniest Family Guy cutaways ever is where Stewie says, "You're more useless than Aquaman." And then Aquaman is just like, you know, there's a crime going on and Aquaman's just in the lake. He pops up and then the woman's like, "Aquaman, help!" And then he calls out, Hey, stop doing that. Or what? Or I don't know, man, but like he can't leave the water and he just throws a dead fish at the guy. But Jason Momoa made him kick ass. You know, he's the big Samoan beefed up dude and he's just punching guys and, you know, the care if I come aboard, that line. Yeah. Perfect.
You want to root for him.
Atlantis. Yes. Yeah. Good form. I do think that Patrick Wilson. I always forget his name. The guy from The Conjuring.
Patrick Wilson.
Main villain in that one. He does feel a bit traditional to me. It does kind of feel like, oh, this is just like the Black Panther type struggle where it's for the throne and everything, or the Lion King struggle.
Right.
You do have a fun performance from Willem Dafoe in there also. It has really.
We'll get to it. Might get to it.
Yeah. We'll get to it. It's hard for me to rewatch Aquaman now because of everything going on with Amber Heard also. Not to get too deep into that stuff, but it's just hard for me to watch at this point, but I still really enjoy all the visuals. I think James Wan is one of the best directors working today, I think. I think it's a fair assumption. And it was interesting because when I was going to see this in theaters, he was mostly known for his forays into the horror genre.
Yeah.
Like he did The Conjuring, and I think his name was also attached to the Insidious films, which I love.
Yeah.
But here he is in the superhero realm, and he did a damn good job with it.
There's also some horror elements in Aquaman, for sure. Like there are a couple. Scares, like especially with the trench later on. There's an Annabelle cameo in Aquaman, actually.
Yeah,
it's true.
There totally is. I remember that now.
Yeah. Well, I was watching it earlier today, but I remember. But I mean, again, we'll get to Aquaman when I get it on my list. But yeah, it's definitely a fun movie for sure.
Let's look at some comments. Good Lord, number 6. Yeah, Marcus. I'm sorry.
I take it it's higher on Marcus's list than it is on Zach's.
Yeah. No, it has to be. Aquaman is a lot of fun. The movie feels like a live action cartoon type of movie. Yeah.
Oh, it totally does.
I wouldn't say it feels as cartoony as like say Thor Ragnarok, of course not, but I definitely feel that. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. It is very colorful. Not a lot of DCEU movies are as colorful as this one. I think Warner Brothers is probably more to blame for what was in that trailer than Snyder,
Probably.
Yeah.
It sounds like with BVS and also with Justice League, Warner Brothers didn't give Snyder a whole lot of control over the marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Aquaman is definitely fun, but again, still doesn't hold up upon rewatches as much as Snyder's. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. There's just more meat to Snyder's films and the rest that can somewhat feel fluffy fun, but not much to go back to. Yeah. Yeah, I can see where you're going with that.
Snyder's films are definitely, they have a heavier vibe than like Wonder Woman or Aquaman or Shazam, for sure.
Yeah. I think you should tell Eric where this Annabelle cameo is because he didn't know that, Andy.
It's the scene where Aquaman and Mera are down. They find her ship in the cargo container or whatever it was. They find her ship, and then their ship, when they're first going to Atlantis, when the ship leaves, I think that's where you see Annabelle on the bottom. You can find her there when the ship first takes off.
Oh, so it's a little Easter egg then. It's not like, hey, look, there's Annabelle, but you see her pop into the background.
Yeah, no, it's not like her head turns or anything. It's just like she's just there. That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be interesting. Oh, I got you there with Amber. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not gonna go deep into that. See you, Zach. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully you can catch the rest of the replay. Go check out Zach Milne on YouTube, guys. But yeah, we're already halfway through, Andy. Wow, time is flying by. Yeah, I'm loving doing this with you, and I hope you guys are all having fun. Let me know if you guys prefer this method of live streaming the rankings rather than just pre-recording them. Let me know down in the chat also if you guys prefer this. But without any further ado, Andy, top 5.
Well, I will say before we continue that I actually am really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun. I love seeing the comments and reacting to them. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I think I might want to do this again some other time.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, this won't be the last time you see Andy on here, my friend. So, all right, what you got for your top 5? Yeah, so starting at number 5, and you should know that I'm talking about the Ultimate Edition when I say Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, yeah, there it is.
There it is. Now, it's funny because this is another one like Suicide Squad, where when I first saw this in theaters, I loved it, and then I liked it less and less as the years went by. But when the Snyder Cut was coming out, I watched the Ultimate Edition again, and I tried to look at it for what Snyder's vision was, and what he was trying to do. It was a different method than Marvel for sure. The movie. There's a lot in it, and there are some things that maybe didn't have to be in there. But hot take, I actually really like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
I know.
That is a hot take.
That is a hot take for sure, but I understand that he's different from your traditional Lex Luthor for sure, but this is an adaptation, and I think a lot of people like to or tend to forget that when these movies are adapted to, or when these movies are adapted from comic books, they expect their characters to be exactly as they're represented in the in the comics, and even Marvel has deviated from the comics in their movies for a few of them. Like example, Ultron was created by Tony Stark instead of Hank Pym in the movies. That's not as big of a change as Lex Luthor was, but when they cast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I was like, okay, it's very different. Maybe I would have preferred Bryan Cranston or something, but
could you imagine? You're just making me sad now.
I'm sorry. I'll try not to do that again.
It's okay. It's okay.
But no, I it's what you get when you cast Jesse Eisenberg. You get kind of the Mark Zuckerberg-ish kind of businessman who's more psychotic.
Yeah.
No, I do like it. He's socially awkward. He doesn't really know what he's capable of. He's figuring it out, and he's trying to figure out his place in the world where there are now gods among us, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting. His plan is flawed for sure, but
it's definitely flawed.
And definitely, it's not a perfect film by any means. I felt Doomsday didn't have to be in there at all.
No.
But I like the introduction of I do trailers aside, I do like the introduction of Wonder Woman in this movie. Ben Affleck as Batman is I agree with you there, the best part. Even like Jeremy Irons as Alfred, I thought is great.
Yes. Yes. I forgot to talk about that. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's always been one of the most underrated aspects of the whole DCEU was the connection between Bruce and Alfred. I think Jeremy Irons, I mean, as good as Michael Caine was, Jeremy Irons was perfect casting for Alfred.
I agree. I completely agree.
And like he has the right voice for it. And, he I feel like he levels with Batman a lot more. And they feel more like colleagues than Michael Caine feels like a mentor to Christian Bale.
Yeah, I mean, in the Dark Knight trilogy, you always get the feeling that Alfred does not want Bruce Wayne to be Batman, whereas in this, you feel that Jeremy Irons' Alfred has just accepted the fact that there's no changing him. It's just like, all right, he's going to be Batman. All right, well, as long as he's Batman, I'll help him out. Which is fine. That's a good Alfred to have.
A Batman that kills people.
They explained though. Okay, no, I didn't like that, and I still don't like a Batman that kills people. I prefer one that doesn't. But they explained, this is a broken Batman. This is a Batman who has been through shit. You get that when he's looking at the Robin outfit with the words on it. He's lost his faith in humanity. So I get it. It's a story-based reason for it happening. Maybe you don't get that on your first watch through. It might take a couple watches, but.
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't gather that on my first watch. I was kind of looking for an actual scene where Ben Affleck is like, "Yeah, they killed Robin though, so I have no choice."
Right.
Something like that.
Well, not everything needs to be explained.
Again, absolutely, yeah. And the more and more I think about it, that's such a great point. And I'm starting to agree with you here. Definitely, I prefer Zack Snyder to show me more than tell me with his script. So. Jesse is great, Marcus says.
Okay, cool. Someone who agrees with me.
Listen, again, Jesse, what kind of villain is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, though? He's the goddamn man in the suit. And everybody
Lex Luthor is.
I know, but everybody who's seen my Marvel playlist, everybody knows I hate that cliche. And after spending 8 years or so going through 3 Iron Man films where it's been the same exact fucking villain every single time, I'm like, I've seen him before. he's going more insane, but like, I don't know. Give me something different. They gave me something different in Man of Steel, and we'll talk about that. But like, good Lord. Yeah, it was, something else. Eric says, Jesse Eisenberg is growing on me. I don't love him as Luther, but he's not as cringy as Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. That I can agree with. I can agree with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I can agree with. Andy, I mentioned this to Zach on a past stream. Do you like the idea of viewing Affleck's Batman as a continuation of Bale's? I do. It's just missing a movie where John Blake gets killed by the Joker.
No. I'd rather have Chris Nolan's trilogy be its own thing, because when you think about it, it's such a grounded, realistic world, and so when you bring supernatural elements into it, like Aquaman and Superman, it kind of ruins the vibe of Nolan's trilogy. It makes it feel like the universe has completely changed, kind of like Joel Schumacher did with Tim Burton's movies. Like, supposedly it's like the same kind of continuity, but it's like a different vibe entirely that kind of ruins it. So
single tear falling when I think of Batman Forever and goddamn Arnold Schwarzenegger. But anyway, I got to talk about my number 5 also. So some of you might be surprised by this choice and this placement, but this is where I put Birds of Prey. Okay. I really, this makes my top 5. I had a lot of fun with this. I think Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, who I didn't mention when we talked about Suicide Squad, she was the best part of that movie. And she was the best part of this movie also. Pitch perfect casting.
She's the only part of this movie.
She was the only part of this movie. No, you're good. This was, it was essentially her movie, because like the whole title, I don't think it says it on the Blu-ray, does it? Let me see. Oh yeah, it does. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. This is definitely her movie, and as it should be. I loves what I think Kathy Yan was the one that directed this, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But I love that she made this rated R.
Yep.
This Harley Quinn, as unhinged as she is, she definitely needs that rating so she can just go bonkers. But this is Luke is the biggest fan of this guy I know. I really like Birds of Prey. Margot Robbie was the best part of it. He is the biggest Ewan McGregor stan I know. He did a really good job as the villain. Roman Sionis, Black Mask, and I'm really, really happy that Roman Sionis got a big, a shot to shine in a live action film like this. Mm-hmm. And I thought Ewan McGregor did an excellent job with it. And again, he may be another man in a suit, but he at least could kick ass along the way.
He had fun with it.
He did have fun with it. Sam Rockwell couldn't kick ass in Iron Man 2, but I
hated Sam Rockwell in Iron Man 2.
And now everybody's begging for Emily Van Camp to be working with Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. I'm like,
flash of vibes right there.
If that plays into Armor Wars, then maybe. But I get that in a way. But I too that I would say that the first Iron Man is arguably a lot more grounded than the rest of the MCU, which is and like, I'm not saying that Obadiah Stane isn't a good man in the suit villain. He is. Jeff Bridges is awesome, but it's the fact that after Tony Stark beats him, he has to go through the same exact villain over and over again. Mm-hmm. You have the big baddies like Mickey Rourke was in Iron Man 2, and you have freaking the Mandarin, but the main villain of both of the other 2 Iron Man movies were just the man in the suit. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that they were so repetitive with it. So I'm sorry, Marcus. I'm sorry. He really likes Birds of Prey, it sounds like.
I will say, back to that comment about Iron Man being more grounded, I feel like the only other MCU movie that matches it in terms of being grounded is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I feel like that's kind of an equally grounded and realistic movie. Yep.
And you know what? That's where the man in the suit also works, because it's a movie all about politics. So there you go. But yeah, Birds of Prey is number 5, much to Marcus's chagrin. What do you have for your 4th choice, my friend?
For number 4, I got Birds of Prey.
There it is. The perfect segue.
And the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and like you, to your point, Zach, she finally gets to go nuts in a rated R movie, which is her perfect setting. And I'm glad that James Gunn's Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn is also going to be rated R, so we get more of that nuts and bonkers feel with her. Can't wait for that. I love the overall atmosphere and vibe of Birds of Prey. I love the music. The music in Birds of Prey is really like it's a bop, pun intended.
Bless.
Yeah.
It's a great soundtrack.
The other characters too. I like how Huntress was done. I love Black Canary. Give her HBO series because that would be awesome. And just
I noticed a lot of people begging for that too. So yeah, like I wouldn't mind it.
That'd be cool. I'd love to see it because Journey Smollett Bell, I think, did a great job as Black Canary. Again, different from the comics and different from what we might have seen in Arrow, but welcome.
Arrow.
I think it's. I thought it was cool.
Oh boy.
What?
No, I was just saying, oh boy, to Arrow. So
okay. Yeah, no, that's warranted. But yeah, I again also Ewan McGregor, I thought had a lot of fun. Again, it's deviating from the Black Mask character that we know. If you played Arkham Origins, the Black Mask is more traditional there. But this movie was a big girl power movie because it's Birds of Prey. And it's welcome. I thought the Birds of Prey kicked complete ass in this movie. The action scenes were really well choreographed in this one, I felt.
Yes. Oh yeah, really, really well directed. Also, they just look really awesome. Never would I thought. Lands. Yes, never would I think that a confetti cannon would look as beautiful as it does.
I love the shot where Harley Quinn is walking through the smoke with the different colored smoke, and she's walking in slow motion. I love that shot a lot.
Oh man,
big old smile on her face. This is a visually beautiful movie, I think, and also just a great soundtrack. It's just an overall fun movie. This is like the epitome of a fun movie. And I had one more point, but I forgot. I might bring it up later. Let's see.
Yeah, no, it's all good. While you're doing that, I'll just go ahead and mention what my number 4 is, and I'm thinking that Marcus, I think you're going to be really mad at me on this one.
He's been mad at you.
Man of Steel, number 4. I enjoy this. It's a great Zack Snyder flick. It's certainly epic. Henry Cavill looks the part. He is excellent as Superman. Definitely would have better performances as Superman as he went. But I love the dynamic he shares with his parents. Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, who would reunite and let him go, which was awesome movie. But yeah, man, Man of Steel is kind of what started it all. And then it just kind of went, just kind of fell off a cliff after that because they wanted to get to the big team up too soon. Come on, Zach, number 4. yeah, number 4. I'm sorry to disappoint everybody, but that's what it is. Man of Steel is number 4 on my list. I've got a few more to talk about, but I mean, Zack Snyder, again, he's more of a like you could just look at a movie and just like, oh, that's a Zack Snyder movie. Like you could just look at 300, for example, and be like, that's a Zack Snyder movie. Yeah. Like, and I was walking into Man of Steel in the theater and I was like, oh man, I don't know who directed this. And then I sit down and I see the first shot and I'm like, this is Zack Snyder, isn't it? And it was Zack Snyder at the credits. I'm like, there you go. I'm sorry, Marcus. He's so mad at me. I'm sorry. I mean, again, subjective. Luke likes Man of Steel, but honestly, out of Snyder's filmography, I think Watchmen is better because the story was told better. Think you can attest to that, Andy?
You're gonna hate me, but I have not seen Watchmen.
It's I think you'd like it, especially like
it's on my list.
Discussion we'd have.
It's on my list for sure. I definitely have to watch it. I mean, I didn't know how long it was. I was going to watch it at one point. I didn't know how long it was. I was like, oh, I don't know. It's close
to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Good.
So I need to schedule it. I need to take a day, finally sit down and watch this damn movie that people keep bugging me to watch.
Yes, 100%. Let's see if number 3. Let's see if you make Marcus happier here.
I probably will, because for I'm calling it now. My number 3 is Man of Steel. So
there it is.
There it is.
Man of Steel.
I'm sensing a pattern with our list again. But
yeah, probably. All right, why number 3?
I think Man of Steel is great, honestly. No, Man of Steel is a great movie. I'll say the one Zack Snyder-ism that is not big in this one is a slow motion. Not a lot of slow motion in this one. Like I feel like there's more slow motion in the first Wonder Woman than there is in this.
Yeah,
but
honestly, there's more slow motion in Justice League.
There's a comment. He says,
unbelievably,
slowly turns back to the. He's like, do I have her attention?
Oh, God damn it, Marcus. Do I have everybody's attention now?
No, again, I'm a big music guy, so I've been mentioning this, but the score in Man of Steel is amazing. Love the music in Man of Steel. Hans Zimmer kills
Chef's Kiss.
This one. Yeah, Chef's Kiss for sure. Visually, I think it's really cool. Yeah, there's a big, low, way too much action, and the scenes in the first half are like way out of order. That's kind of weird, but no, they are. I mean, but
that non-linear narrative, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Except you don't. But
except when Quentin Tarantino does it, then it's good.
Exactly. He's like the only one who could pull it off. But no, I mean, the acting was pretty good all around. Even Amy Adams, who I'm actually not a huge fan of, but
really,
yeah. But we'll get in. Well, that's another rant for another time. But
yeah.
But no, she was good as Lois Lane. Kevin Costner was great as Jonathan Kent, I thought. Diane Lane is great as Martha Kent. Michael Shannon as Zod, I actually thought was really good.
Yeah, and Russell, correct me if I'm wrong, Russell Crowe also, yeah?
Yeah.
Say what you want about Russell Crowe, but goddamn, he's good in this movie. Like, he wasn't like, like Gladiator or A Beautiful Mind level good actor. Like, he won 2 Oscars in a row for those, but like just he's a good actor, guys. Just don't put him in musicals and don't put Russell Crowe in musicals and he's a good actor. So there you go. Eric says Amy Adams is perfect as Lois Lane. I think she fits the part really well. I'm going to agree with you there, but I just feel like she's written like they just write her so like mediocrely, if that's a word. Look that up in Urban Dictionary. But like, good Lord, it just feels like for most of the time, especially in Batman v Superman, she just feels like she's there because she's Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like she just has nothing to do. She's just meandering because she's Superman's love interest.
She's like contractually obligated to be there. For me, the greatest Lois Lane in live action will always be Erica Durance in Smallville.
Yes.
That was a Lois Lane that kicked ass.
Oh, that's great.
She had that take no prisoners attitude that she was great. Oh yeah, Feora. I just saw someone commented down there. Feora was great in Man of Steel. Loved her.
Went Bane on so many guys. I don't know if she was as scary as Bane because, Bane was literally turned into a terrorist at Heinz Field. So, What's up, Tomas? We both rated Wonder Woman 1984. We both already kind of went in depth on it, but there were some things we liked, like Pedro Pascal, and the 80s vibe of it, but Cheeto was kind of lame.
Actually was not a big fan of Pedro Pascal in that one, but
really?
Yeah,
oh boy.
If you missed out, I think Wonder Woman 84 was number 8 on both of our lists. Pretty sure. Yep. So yeah.
I think you're the only one, Tomas. I think you're the only one in that camp.
I'll say I don't hate Russell Crowe in Les Mis. I'll say he's my least favorite in that movie, but I don't hate him.
I mean, my favorite was Anne Hathaway, and she's Fontaine. She's only in like the first few scenes, so good. So good. Yeah. The best movie told in a nonlinear narrative is American History X and Memento. Memento, yes. I got a lot of heat for what I said about American History X, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. But
Pulp Fiction.
It's a good, Pulp Fiction. Yeah, where's that? Where's that? But yeah. So my number three might shock everybody also as far as how high it is, but this is where I put Shazam. I mean, put the mediocre villain aside for just a second and just think of how fun Shazam is. This really reminded me a lot of Big, starring Tom Hanks. It was like one of his earlier roles. Yeah, it's kind of what got him, like his first movie, as I'm sure most of you are aware, was a little film called Splash. And that was good and fun, but it wasn't the one movie that propelled him to superstardom. Big was that movie. And Shazam really, like, in terms of story, in terms of tone, in terms of vibe, Shazam really brought back a lot of fun nostalgic memories of watching Big for the first time, because it's literally just Big in a superhero realm. That's all it is. And it's a simple concept, but it works. I think Zachary Levi was perfect in the title role. And that's an actor, if you put him in musicals, he thrives. And you can kind of see that in this movie, too. He was in the revival of She Loves Me, which is another very underrated show. Oh, number 9 for you, Marcus? Oh, boy.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Wow, there you go.
Lower than mine.
No, but I had fun with this. Shazam was a really fun movie. The ending was a little overbooked, in my opinion, but Zachary Levi was funny. Yeah. No, I can definitely...
Can you explain what overbooked means?
Yeah, it's a wrestling term. Basically, it means like there's too many plot elements thrown into the mix, like too much interference or like too much too much of this element thrown in to kind of distract from this. But I mean, Shazam makes my top 3 for one reason alone. One of my favorite sequences in a climax ever. I'm sure you probably know where I'm going with this, Andy, but you have the hero and the villain as far of a distance as you can imagine from each other. And the villain is like screaming his evil plan at Shazam. And he's like, "What? I can't hear you."
That's another thing I actually have a problem with, because before, when Savannah was talking down to the crowd, they could hear him just fine.
Yeah. I'll give that a pass. But
sorry I had to ruin that for you, but
well, maybe he was like, maybe he was just messing with him in that regard. But I mean, no, I like the group dynamic. The kids were all really good in it. I don't really have too much of an issue with Shazam. I can still rewatch that. That's another thing. Like, in terms of my ranking, part of me is also like, which ones, if I were forced, would I want to rewatch more than the other ones? And Shazam, I don't know what it is. It always just feels like one of the DCEU films I always tend to gravitate towards on a rewatch. Like, I'm more often than not, I'm in the mood for Shazam than I am for Man of Steel. I know it's going to be a hot take, but it's more fun. It's more fun.
I love the kids in Shazam, honestly. For me, like, the kids and the whole foster home aspect of the movie in general is my favorite part of it, especially the parents. I love them. They're great. They give such. And Freddie's also a great supporting character in the movie. Love him. The actor who plays him, Jack Dylan Grazer from the It movies as well. I think he's a real up and coming talent, and I think he showcases that in the It movies and in Shazam. And I felt like that whole aspect, I'd want to hang out with them. I want to sit in on one of their family dinners with their rhyming prayers every night. That's different every time. I love that. That was a great aspect of it. Definitely.
100%. Here, let's see. Marcus liked the overbooked. Marcus liked the overbooked joke because he's a wrestling fan as well. The Suicide Squad trailer thoughts. It looks really funny. Bravo to James Gunn already. We kind of talked about this also a little bit earlier, but it looks really fun. I keep thinking Zack Snyder directed it, and it's just his version of the SpongeBob movie. But
I get it now.
because King Shark looks like Patrick in the silhouette,
Well, also, you have a big starfish.
There you go. I think just any Snyder one I'd like to rewatch, but Shazam is easily next up after the Snyder films for me. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I like it. All right. Real quick, because again, we are in our top 2. I'm having such a great time doing this, Andy. This is just an absolute blast. I hope you all are still with us. If you guys haven't yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can, and hit that thumbs up button while you're at it as well. Yes, do it. Like Palpatine would. Hey, Palpatine, how'd you get this picture? I drew it. I drew it. All right, my friend. We're at that time. Process of elimination, number 2.
How do you make your beer? I brew it. Sorry, that took way too long to come up with. All right, number 2. Again, this is okay for top 2. It might be a little hot take-ish, but it should be fun nonetheless. For number 2, I have Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know, weird, right? Weird, right?
Oh boy, yep, that is, yeah, it maybe a hot take, yeah, but all right, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
honestly speaking, though, for me, number 1 and 2 are actually pretty much tied. Like, I do love them both equally, but for different reasons.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, what can I say about Zack Snyder's Justice League that hasn't been said already by everybody? I mean, it's freaking fantastic. It's the version of Justice League that we needed from the start. It fleshes out the characters so much more. Cyborg is awesome in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Bless.
This is like given what I know, people are like, what the hell? It's number 2? Are you serious?
They're so upset.
I know, and I get it. I get it. I really do. And my number 1 is going to, it's going to be an interesting, but I do have my reasons. But getting back to Zack Snyder, I feel like, given Ray Fisher's whole deal with Warner Bros. Right now, I feel like this is the best Cyborg movie we're gonna get.
Yes,
but I'll take it because it was great. And
loved it.
I will say, like, Ezra Miller as a Flash, better in this one, of course, than in Justice League. But and I do like his version on the Flash. I'm not gonna say it's the definitive version of the Flash. I'm looking forward to seeing what Andy Muschietti does with his movie. Which just started filming not that long ago.
Oh, it did. Yep.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. I think I may be in the minority who thinks that Ezra Miller is miscast. I love what Zack Snyder does with him in his cut here because, like, I mean, he's a troubled young kid with OCD, and he just has to make the perfect moment so he can get the girl. It's funny. I like it.
The way he's portrayed in this one, I feel like he's definitely on the spectrum, which I think is a really great. I think it's a great way to interpret the Flash, and he's supposed to be that kind of socially awkward dude, kind of like Grant Gustin's in like the Flash season 1. I watched the first couple seasons of the Flash, and then I stopped. But
he's kind of like the Evan Hansen of comic books in a lot of ways. So.
I never thought of it like that, but yeah, totally.
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't think Ezra Miller like fit that like stereotype. If you were to put like a Grant Gustin or like a Ben Platt in there, like I'd be more convinced if Ben Platt could kick someone's ass as the Flash than Ezra
That would be
Miller,
really interesting. I'm picturing it right now, and I can actually see it working. But one other point about the Snyder Cut that I have to touch on is the black suit Superman. Dude, seeing Superman in his black suit kick all kinds of ass was just the greatest thing.
So awesome. Awesome. And he didn't have his CGI Mission Impossible Fallout porn stash at all.
I'm like, man,
nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite scenes is like when he first gets his black suit, he rises up. There's that shot where he's like overlooking the world. The music's kicking on. I love that scene so much. It's fantastic.
So great. Yeah, I think I'm super happy that Zack Snyder got to realize his vision. One thing I'll say about it for right now, Zack Snyder deserved to have his vision shown to the world. It was taken away from him, like, due to really tragic, unfortunate circumstances. But he 100% gave us the better movie in every single way. Improved upon every single facet that Joss Whedon tried, but just wasn't really panning out. The villain also given a lot more development, and he looked so much better. Like, he wasn't just some, like, one of us losers dressed up at Comic-Con as Steppenwolf, like, he looked a lot more intimidating. The effects looked a lot better, and he was actually given a story and development, and he wasn't just this bad guy, you know?
Much better defeat in this one as well, where he got his freaking head sliced off instead of him just being carried back to his void by these demons.
Oh, it was so cool. It honestly made me think of Game of Thrones. If anybody's familiar with Game of Thrones, season 1, you know, Ned's beheading.
Oh, yeah.
Brought back some jarring memories for me. Even though I'm just starting season 4 right now. So nobody freaking spoil it down in the chat. So yeah, no, don't you dare spoil it, Marcus. I know you want to, but oh boy, Tomas. No. I you know, this may be a hot take. I still find myself calling it the Falcon and the Winter Soldier just because it's so hard for me to like. Don't get me wrong, the title change is fantastic and it's so well-meaning, but it's so hard to differentiate the series from the damn second movie now because the titles are so similar.
Yeah,
like you
I'm pretty sure you're not alone in that. I mean, the poster hasn't changed, so.
Right. The Falcon, Captain America and the Winter Soldier instead of Captain America : the Winter Soldier. Yeah. But okay. I think I'm gonna redeem myself with this one. My number 2 is Wonder Woman. This was, I have a lot of fun memories going back to the theater to see this. I actually am gonna respectfully disagree with you on one thing, Andy. I think the third act was extremely effective. And I'm going to go back to my Chris Pine rants a little bit earlier. It was such an effective, emotional, sad moment when they split up like that. And like the way it was presented to us where we don't know exactly what he said until she's back in the present day was I loved it. I loved it. Patty Jenkins, I think, is one of the most underrated directors working today. And I don't think we've given her enough credit either. Gal Gadot is a perfect choice as Wonder Woman. I mean, you see her above my little screen there. I mean, she just embodies the character so perfectly. She brings such an amazing spirit to the character. Like, I think for everybody who is wanting a live-action Wonder Woman film, and I think Gal Gadot did them proud. And now they're saying, "Oh, yay, Zach, you redeemed yourself." Oh boy. Yeah.
I'll say Gal Gadot and Chris Pine's chemistry is the best thing about the movie. I thought.
It's so cute.
Chemistry.
It's so adorable.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know,
the scene where they're on the boat talking about, you know, like humans and it's like reproduction. That's I love that. It's great.
They made me use the word adorable. That's how good it is. Like, good Lord. I also really do enjoy David Thewlis as this villain. He's another actor that really does not get credit where credit is due. Loved him in the Harry Potter movies, Professor Lupin.
How could you?
Yeah, exactly. He's so great, and like, you know,
and the crew, the crew that they go out with, those soldiers, love them all. The great chemistry. They're pretty much DC's Howling Commandos, is what they are. But I welcome it. Great.
Yep. You know, it's a fantastic origin story, and it really did bring back a lot of fun memories watching it in the theater. From when I saw Captain America: The First Avenger in theaters back in the day. You know, again, very similar time travel. Someone who was, you know, World War I also. That's a big thing. You don't see World War I often. You know, obviously First Avenger was World War II, but like you don't see like All Quiet on the Western Front, like down in the trenches, 1917 style superhero. So it's so good. So good.
Centerpiece action scene where she's going out there taking the fire. That's got to be one of the best action scenes in the DCEU. It's iconic.
One of my favorite shots in the whole DCEU is her actually just getting out of the trenches and just walking there with the badass Hans Zimmer score in the background. Like, it's so good.
I think it's Rupert Gregson Williams who actually scored this one.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Yeah, so don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, down in the comments, let me know.
But fun fact, did you know that when Gal Gadot was shooting that scene, she was actually a few months pregnant?
Kidding.
She was pregnant when they shot that big action scene. So what they did was they actually cut a hole in her outfit for her baby bump and replaced it with green screen. And so they had to CG her stomach for that scene. So fun fact for those of you watching,
Hey, I wouldn't have known. It's a lot more convincing than trying to hide, Henry Cavill's porn stash from Fallout. But Wonder Woman is a combination of Captain America with the World War I setting and Black Panther with her origins. Interesting analogy. I never really thought of it that way, my friend. But I think definitely see the Captain America First Avenger comparisons.
I saw it as a mix of Captain America 1 and the first Thor movie with the fish out of water element.
Yes.
That's how I always saw it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like two fish out of water stories in one, because you have Wonder Woman or, Diana Prince going into the modern world and Chris Pine trying to fit into the Amazonian world too. So I just thought that was really, really cool. The first Wonder Woman is pretty much the first Thor movie meets the first Captain America movie. There it is. Yeah. I rest my case. But process of elimination, my friend, the time has come. Number one, I think everybody knows what it is by this point for both of us, but Andy?
All right. For me, it's a personal preference thing because I grew up loving ocean life as a kid. When I was a kid, I actually wanted to be a Shamu trainer when I grew up at SeaWorld. So number one for me is Aquaman because it brought back that childhood feeling of joy when I went to SeaWorld. And I understand it's a total personal bias thing, but that's what top 10 lists are all about, And honestly, exactly. I actually love this movie. I was watching it earlier today to make sure it was still my number one. And again, they are pretty much tied, but for different reasons. Zack Snyder Snyder Cut was heavy DC, getting into the meat of it. Here's a good serious story. Aquaman is the fun, vibrant, colorful DC movie that I can just, sit back and watch. And, I feel like everyone knocks it out of the park. Jason Momoa is fantastic. He's hilarious as Arthur Curry. Tamura Morrison is as great as his dad. He's not he's not in the movie too much, but I love the scenes with him and his son together. They're great. Black Manta, I thought, was an awesome villain, as much as he's not in the movie as much as well. He was a better villain than King Orm, played by Patrick Wilson. So I feel like, he is coming back for the sequel, actually, Black Manta is.
I'm down for that.
But I think Orm is as well. And I will say, Amber Heard as Mara, there's hate against her right now. Again, we won't get into it. So I feel like they are going to minimize her role for the sequel. But
just take her out altogether. Just take her out altogether. That's preferable.
I will say, there are some things in the movie that don't work for me. I don't buy the romance actually at all. I never bought the romance.
Interesting.
I never bought the romance between I bought the friends, the banter back and forth. The chemistry is all right, but I never saw the romance coming. I know that they have a romance in the comics, and that's fine, but it didn't feel natural in this movie to me. But the action in this movie is awesome. The fluid camera shots. James Wan does such a good job with transitions between scenes. Really well edited. And the score is great. The visual effects, again, brought me back to my childhood at SeaWorld when I would go there all the time as a kid. It's so colorful. When you see this world of Atlantis, you're like, I want to go there. I want to visit. The visual effects are actually astounding in this one. And the story, it goes, from the way it's an adventure. It goes all over the world to each of the 7 kingdoms. And it's an exploring movie mixed with good action and lore and good acting and humor. It has it all for me. It's a really fun, it's the epitome of a fun adventure for me.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I definitely agree with a lot of your points. This is the fun movie in the DCEU. I almost called it the MCU, but I caught myself. Jason Momoa is absolutely perfect, and he is Roman Reigns underwater. Acknowledge him as the head of the table. I already acknowledged Roman Reigns as the head of the table. Where is everybody? Eric did have Aquaman at number one when he first saw it, but it just didn't stay there for me. This was definitely one of the most fun, crowd-pleasing movies I saw on the big screen. Yeah. As far as DC movies go, as far as lately, it was just so fun. And put aside all the controversy with Amber Heard right now. Mm-hmm. James Wan did such an excellent job directing this. I actually felt like I don't know if anybody's ever been to the Monterey Bay Aquarium or not, but it made me feel like I was standing in front of that big open ocean exhibit. I was like, oh my God, this just looked so beautiful. I just love underwater movies in general too. Like, Finding Nemo, I've been pushing really hard for Black Panther 2 to go underwater also with Namor as the villain. So, I mean, just a pitch.
That one line in Endgame where Okoye is talking about the African plate.
Yep.
Namor.
Yep. Where's Henry Golding? Is he busy? Hey, what's up, Josh? Hope you're doing well also. Thanks for joining in. He says Aquaman was a really fun movie. My only nitpicks are that it was a little too long and they heavily misused Black Manta, but I expect him to get redeemed in the sequel. Me too. How long was Aquaman? I don't remember the runtime.
2 hours and 20 minutes, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
But yeah, I think with Black Manta and Randall Park is in this one as well. He's Stephen Shin. He's a scientist. So if we want it, I'd like to see, because the mid-credit scene in Aquaman is them kind of teaming up because they found him out in the ocean, and so I'd like to see Black Manta, and Black Martha. No, Black Manta
Save
and
Martha.
I want to see Black Manta and Jimmy Woo team up to.
Oh man, yeah. No, I'd love for Randall Park to be more involved with this sequel if he's not busy playing Jimmy Woo and other projects, because WandaVision freaking blew up.
He's not busy doing his Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis spinoff.
Yeah, no, that spinoff already exists. It's called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Look it up, guys. But Aquaman, 2 hours and 23 minutes. Thank you, Luke. Yeah. Do you think Namor will still be the villain in Black Panther 2 despite Chadwick Boseman's unfortunate passing? Do you think Namor would be a good villain for Shuri? First of all, I'm hoping it's not Shuri as the new Black Panther. It would make all the sense in the world. That's the predictable route. I'd like them to give Winston Duke a shot as M'Baku as the hero, but who am I? But but guys, Aquaman was Andy's number one. I'm sure you've all guessed it. I redeemed myself in Eric's book. Zack Snyder's Justice League is my number one, and you want to know why, everybody? It's because it took DCEU 10 movies to finally figure out what the hell they're doing. Zack Snyder was the key. Zack Snyder should have had the keys to the kingdom. Yeah, Zack Snyder should have had the keys to the kingdom from the very beginning. And he proves it here. I'm fully in the camp of restoring the Snyderverse. I'm definitely one of those people. I'm not one of those people that's like, putting that hashtag all over Twitter or anything like that. I'm like, I'll put out a restore the Snyderverse here whenever I feel the need to. But like, I'm not one of those stands that's like, oh, do this every single day because I've got other things to do. But
yeah, it's not like restore the Snyderverse or I will never watch a DC movie again. Just not like that.
Right. Yeah, and I'm still probably going to go to the theater anyway because, you still got Black Adam coming out, which, I'm still, The Rock is my idol, so I will be there first night in the theater. You got The Flash coming out with this weird multiverse thing,
Michael Keaton's Batman coming back.
God, I'm so worried about that because, like, how are they going to freaking pull that off? Like, I don't. But
I'll tell you this, though, before you go on with Zack Snyder, I think when Michael Keaton's Batman comes back, I expect to hear some Danny Elfman with his return.
Please. That is a huge missed opportunity.
To hear that.
Andy Muschietti, take notes. If you have Danny Elfman on hand, have him compose the music to The Flash. But anyway, I'm suddenly excited for Black Adam now that James Bond joined it. Did he really?
What?
Wait, Daniel Craig is in Black Adam? I'm looking this up.
No, he's talking about Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan's going to be in it.
Oh, that James Bond.
I just remembered. Yeah.
Yep.
He's playing Dr. Fate, actually, is what I heard.
Yep. I see it right here. Dr. Fate. Yep. Digimon Hansu is in it. Aldous Hodge is in it.
Which is funny. Jaimin Hansu is now in like 3 different DCEU movies, playing different roles.
Well, I mean, he's in like 3 different Marvel movies also. Like, you just entertain.
Yeah, but at least he's the same character.
I don't even think he was the same character in Guardians and Captain Marvel.
No, he was.
Oh, was he? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
flew over my head. But then again, Captain Marvel was pretty forgettable. But anyway, again, I feel like Andy touched on a lot of these points already, but this version completely blew Joss Whedon's out of the water. Everything Joss Whedon tried to do to fix this version just only made it worse.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, Justice League, it really felt like they wanted to get to the big team up moment right away. And it just felt so forced. But with this thing being 4 hours, again, you got to set aside time for this. So that might be the one thing detracting people from sitting down to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. But Zack Snyder gives all those characters the time they deserve to develop, because none of them were getting those solo movies before that release of Justice League. Because remember, Aquaman didn't come out until a year after the fact. Wonder Woman had just gotten her solo movie. The Flash wasn't getting a solo movie anytime soon. No sign whatsoever of a solo Cyborg movie, which is a damn shame, because Ray Fisher was the best part of it. He stole the show. Just the emotional crux of it. Zack Snyder was a man of his word there. I really would like to see a solo Cyborg movie. You guys aren't alone. But here's Eric. The Snyder Cut is my favorite comic book movie over the Nolan's 3 Batman films. I can understand why. I don't think anything's ever going to top the Dark Knight for me. That's just subjective. It just edges out Infinity War. Oh boy.
Look, when it comes to your favorite, it's all subjective. No one's wrong.
This is my favorite DCEU movie. I'm not saying it's my favorite superhero movie of all time. I think that might be a bit of a stretch, because, again, I think the one thing that's working against it is it does pull a Return of the King in a lot of facets. It does go super ultra long. The epilogue, so to speak, takes way too long to get to the freaking point. I did like it legitimately just felt like an extended cut of Lord of the Rings. It just kind of felt tacked on. The nightmare stuff was cool, and Jared Leto sort of redeemed himself in this Joker version, but not really. Came nowhere close to Joaquin Phoenix's turn, but I loved it. What's there to say? Steppenwolf was improved upon. Cyborg, emotional crux. Love Batfleck again. Oh, Darkseid. Yep. Steppenwolf was somebody's pet. It's almost like Steppenwolf is to Darth Vader what Darkseid is to Palpatine. I mean, we were making the Palpatine. Yeah.
Steppenwolf is to Darkseid what Darth Vader is to Palpatine.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what I meant. That's where I was going. But I think I just said that wrong. But you guys get the picture. But this was just a comic book fan's dream come true. And again, this is where DC, as an extended universe, finally found its footing. Yeah. And Andy, one other thing to leave off on this, it's a damn shame we're not getting a sequel, because they sure as hell were setting it up to look like there was going to be a sequel. But I think he made Autumn proud. I think Zack Snyder should be very proud of this.
And I love the fact that they actually stuck a billboard in there, an Easter egg to the Suicide Foundation or whatever it is. When Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen are leaving in the car, they actually have a billboard there for like the American Suicide Hotline or something for people who are going through that, as a throwback to his daughter. And, I think that's great. And the fact that this got made, I mean, you nailed it. It's a really feel good story.
Yeah, even though I'm the actor on the YouTube realm, I'm always siding with the filmmaker here. And whenever they get to realize their vision and make their dream come true, I'm always on their side. Eric thinks we might get a sequel.
I'm always hopeful, I mean, it's never say never for me, I mean, for now they are saying never, but at one point they said we'll never release a Snyder Cut, so we'll see what happens.
And look what happened. Yeah, but I wouldn't count on a sequel. But Tomas asks an interesting question. Do you ever think Joaquin Phoenix's Joker will ever join the DCEU? Would love to see him be a main villain in a Batman movie. I don't think so. And the reason why is because they're setting up this whole alternate like universe type thing, which is just going to be super ultra confusing because we got Robert Pattinson's Batman coming out in 2022, which is probably going to be better than all of these. Let's be honest, because that trailer freaking blew up.
Yeah.
But like, I think if anything, Tomas, I'll say this. I think Joaquin Phoenix, it's possible he could appear in Robert Pattinson's Batman realm. I'm not necessarily thinking he's going to. I think Robert Pattinson has enough interesting villains to work with. We're finally getting a Riddler properly. Jim Carrey doesn't count, guys. We're finally getting the Riddler proper. Paul Dano is playing him, which is an excellent choice. And if anybody saw Colin Farrell's prosthetics as Penguin, yeah, that's a whole lot better than anything they did with Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill. Let me just say that. Whole lot better than that. But let's see. A couple more comments and then we'll kind of wrap this up, guys. Nerdy Blurb, how you doing? Mortal Kombat was a blast. Don't believe me? Fight me.
Test your might.
Yeah, Andy's got a review of Mortal Kombat on his channel also. We both had fun with it. It's
on his channel.
Yeah, if I watched the Snyder cut instead of Flags of Our Fathers, I think I would have had a better time. Yep. Eric thinks we'll get a follow-up in some form. Again, we can be hopeful, but never say never.
Maybe in like a comic or a graphic novel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not counting on it though, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not saying like don't get your hopes up, but like the Joker's ending just begged for a Batman sequel. It totally did.
Sure,
it totally did.
My problem with that is that Bruce Wayne was a kid in that movie, so like how would they do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's not like he was a kid in whatchamacallit, Gotham. Did you ever watch Gotham?
I watched like the first couple episodes and I didn't like it, so I stopped. I heard it gets better, but
it does. And like you get a fine version of the Riddler, but I think Paul Dano is going to blow it out of the water. So Batman's trailer really looks like it could fit in with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Yeah,
I do think. Yeah, I mean, if it's a couple things, because when the trailer for The Batman came out, I did a video on it and I said like it just looks like another Batman reboot. Like why? If this gets an R rating, which it looks like it could, I would be all in.
Could you imagine?
I would love that and make it like in the vein of Joker. I would love that. I actually think that would be pretty cool. Oh,
yeah, me too. The Joker was almost like Taxi Driver meets King of Comedy. And you also have Martin Scorsese attached to it as a producer. So, well, my friend, looks like, that was our list, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys were great. This was fun. Hot takes aside. Y'all should do another ranking soon. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andy will be back on the channel very, very soon. My friend, where can we find you?
Well, I got my own YouTube channel. It's Andy Tolsky. That's my name. It's plain and simple. Yeah.
You kind of cut out there.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I mean you had with hot takes. You had it coming with a DC.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Am I here? Hello. Did you lose me?
I mean, you only had yourself to blame. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
No. I see you.
With DC,
I see you. You're here.
With the DC ranking, you have hot takes coming. I think there's some sort of delay here.
All right. Guys, looks like we're having a little bit of internet connection issues here. So I'm just going to say real quick, go check out Andy's channel down in the description box down below. Go subscribe to him because he deserves your support. And you'll definitely be seeing him again. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. Hit that thumbs up button as well. This was a total blast, Andy. I've loved having you on. Guys, look forward to more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. I just finished editing my review for the Shadow and Bone Netflix TV series, so expect that up tomorrow morning. If you guys are into fantasy, you guys will really, really get a kick out of that. So Snyder is hacking the system again. Mustafa Ali is hacking. Yeah, Mustafa Ali is also hacking the system. So, anyway.
I think I'm back.
Everybody, yeah. So we'll see you on the next one. Commence that back talk down in the comments. Leave us your rankings because I'm curious. And guys, thank you all so much for joining in. Peace.